Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. The first batch of supplies purchased by the government will finally arrive in the country soon. President Duterte announced Wednesday that the government would use the loans secured from World Bank to pay for 1 million vaccine doses developed by Sinovac. These Chinese-developed vaccines purchased by the government would hopefully arrive within the month, according to the president. The government earlier allocated 82.5 billion pesos for the procurement of coronavirus vaccines, logistics, and other medical supplies. So far, the government has secured loans amounting to 1.2 billion US dollars or around 58.5 billion pesos for COVID-19 vaccine procurement. At present, the president pointed out that the country's vaccine stocks were mainly donations from China and the World Health Organization-led COVAX facility. The vaccine supplies donated to the country have reached 1.125 million doses. The country's medical frontliners are given the priority to get vaccine shots, although there have been reports that some officials not in the priority list have jumped the vaccine line.
Kung magdating man, mga next week siguro, then that would be the time that they would notify kayo, si Secretary Galvez, will ring the bell for the World Bank to record it at yun ang babayaran. Babayaran nila doon sa nabili natin. I think it's China. 1 million. Yung 1 million binigay yun. We are expecting another 1 million na galing China. Ito kasi parang nahiya na tayo. Bibili na natin to. So that is the time na may bakuna, mayroon. Ito gamit ang kwarta ng tao.
President Duterte ordered the Department of Health to investigate the people who jumped the vaccination line and received the COVID-19 vaccine ahead of their turn. Duterte made the statement after it was reported that 5 mayors and actor Mark Anthony Fernandez were already inoculated, while the government is yet to complete vaccinating 1.7 million healthcare workers. In his remarks, Duterte acknowledged that the mayors may have decided to get vaccinated to boost the confidence of their constituents. However, he said that this was something that needed legal study. Meanwhile, the president said it was important that the Philippines strictly follow the vaccination priority list to ensure the continued support of the World Health Organization. The Philippines received 525,600 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from the WHO-led COVAX facility. WHO representative to the Philippines, Dr. Rabindra Abiyasinghe, has asked the Philippine government to properly roll out the said vaccines so as not to jeopardize future deliveries. Healthcare workers are the top priority of the government's vaccine program that started on March 1.
Kayo na ang bahala mag-imbestiga nito. Matapos na ito, let your legal office handle or idiretso mo na lang sa make a report out of that incident and diretso mo na lang sa ombudsman. Ito yung mga ang rason nila, I think that is a universal excuse na para hindi matakot yung mga constituents. Well, ako medyo gray area yan. Na dapat talaga ang una, yung mga, whether or not they jump the COVID-19 line of vaccination would require a certain amount of illegal study.
The reproduction number of the coronavirus disease in Metro Manila has dropped to 1.91 according to the latest report of Octa Research Group. But the researchers noted that it is still too early to tell if the decrease in the reproduction rate is the start of a downward trend in the spread of infection in the National Capital Region. In its report issued Thursday, March 25, the reproduction number, or the estimated number of people that a COVID-19 positive individual can infect in the NCR, has decreased to 1.91 from 1.99 as of March 24. The researchers noted that the number of new COVID-19 cases in the metropolis averaged at 3,804 per day over the past week, which is an increase of 61% compared to the previous week. Based on its report, the daily attack rate in the NCR increased to 27.2 per 100,000 of the population, which classifies the region under high risk. Meanwhile, the positivity rate in the NCR was measured at 18% over the past week, exceeding the standard of 5% set by the World Health Organization. Experts also raised alarm over the intensive care unit occupancy of hospitals in the NCR, saying that it already exceeded a critical level at 71%, while hospital bed occupancy has increased to 61%. On the other hand, Octa said bed occupancy in the NCR for non-COVID patients was at 59%, while ICU occupancy was at 44%. As of today, March 25, the DOH released a new bulletin of COVID-19 report with a new highest record of 8,773 daily confirmed COVID-19 infections, which pushed the total cases to 693,048. The country's death toll has reached 13,095 and 580,062 recoveries since the outbreak started last year. The Philippines is the 61st happiest among the 149 countries in the world under the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the 2021 World Happiness Report published by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network. Based on the 9th WHR, the Philippines fell by 19 notches from its 42nd ranking in the periods from 2017 to 2019. The Philippines garnered a life average score of 5.88 in the latest World Happiness Report. The 2021 WHR was launched on March 20 in time for the observance of the UN International Day of Happiness. European and Nordic countries mostly dominated the world's top 10 rankings, with Finland remaining the happiest for 4 consecutive years in a row. At the bottom of the World Happiness Rankings are India, Zimbabwe, and Afghanistan. In Metro News, 95% of medical frontliners in Parañaque vaccinated versus COVID. Caloocan to inoculate workers in private clinics. And Mayor Isko authorizes barangay execs to declare lockdown. More from this report.
The vaccination of healthcare workers in Parañaque City is almost complete, with 95% of total 3,800 medical frontliners are already inoculated, according to Mayor Edwin Olivares. He made a statement following news of the vaccination of actor Mark Anthony Fernandez, which was criticized on social media. The Parañaque City Health Office said that Fernandez, like any other Parañaque resident, passed through the regular procedure such as applying and registering to be vaccinated. According to CHO, Fernandez falls under A3 on the vaccine priority list, which are persons with comorbidities. Olivares maintained that they did not violate any guideline for the Department of Health because they were told to make use of the second jab of AstraZeneca vaccines on those next on the priority list, which are senior citizens and those with comorbidities. Caloocan City called on individuals working in private clinics in the city to have themselves inoculated with COVID-19 jab today, March 25. In a Facebook post, Mayor Octa said those working in medical, dental, dialysis, diagnostic, and lying-in clinics can get COVID jobs from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The inoculation site for clinic workers residing in Barangay 1 to Barangay 164 is at Bulwagang Katipunan, Caloocan City Hall, and those from Barangay 165 to Barangay 188 should go to Glorieta Park, Tala to get their COVID jobs. Malapit reminded clinic workers to bring a valid ID, their PRC license, and a copy of business permit to the vaccination site. Meanwhile, those who will go to the Caloocan City Hall were also told to download the Stay Safe app. Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso signed Executive Order No. 12 authorizing barangay heads to place their barangays under critical zone containment if there are 10 or more active COVID-19 cases in the area. The order placing barangays under lockdown must be forwarded to Manila Mayor within 3 hours after it is issued for his confirmation. The Manila Health Department must also verify the status of COVID-19 cases in barangays before a lockdown is imposed. Residents of barangay must be given at least 2 days before the implementation of the lockdown to prepare. All residents under barangay to be placed under lockdown shall be strictly confined in their residences and are prohibited from going outside their homes. Barangay officials and the police will also be deployed to ensure the proper implementation of the lockdown.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Prelate orders temporary closure of 2 pilgrimage sites in Albay. Cebu City finally starts vaccination drive. And 0 COVID-19 cases in 13 Zamboanga City villages since last year. And here are the details.
To prevent the possible spread of coronavirus disease, Legazpi Bishop Joel Bailon has ordered the temporary closure of 2 pilgrimage sites in Albay Province. These are the Shrine of the Divine Mercy and the Stations of the Cross at Kawa-Kawa Hill in the city of Ligao's Tuburan Village. According to Bishop Bailon's circular dated March 19, this means that not even the private praying of the Station of the Cross nor a simple visit to the shrine shall be allowed for the safety of everyone. During Holy Week, thousands of pilgrims from different provinces visit the site to pray. The bishop also asked the faithful to instead pray the Station of the Cross with their respected families at home or privately. After some delays, the city government of Cebu finally rolled out its vaccination program on Wednesday, March 24. The rollout was conducted at the Robinson's Galleria Mall and at the University of Cebu Banilad campus. The city received 1,600 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from the Department of Health Central Visayas that the city has to administer all doses within 3 days. City Health Department was confident that all the doses will be used within 3 days as the city planned to vaccinate 500 persons a day. The rollout was delayed after the original vaccination site was disapproved by Mayor Michael Rama, chief of the Vaccine Advisory Board. At least 13 of Zamboanga City's 98 barangays have no recorded cases of coronavirus disease since last year, according to the City Health Office on Wednesday. The City Health Office said that most of the barangays with 0 COVID-19 cases are coastal, upland, and island villages that are far from the city proper. The city has 4,267 confirmed COVID-19 cases with 4,020 recorded recoveries, 56 active cases, and 191 deaths as of March 22.
In world news, U.S. hails first signs of vaccine success as cases plateau. Hong Kong and Macau suspend Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine over packaging flaw. And pandemic postcards reveal Londoners' racy secrets. Let's watch this.
U.S. health authorities on Wednesday welcomed falling emergency hospitalization rates among the elderly and a decline in health workers becoming infected as the first signs of the COVID vaccination campaign's success. According to the latest figures, 502 over 65 years old were hospitalized with the COVID in the week ending March 13, compared with 3,384 in the week ending January 9, about an 85% decline. More than 38 million people in the age group, or 70%, have now received at least one dose of COVID vaccine, while 43% are fully vaccinated. The US is currently administering around 2.5 million shots per day. Hong Kong and Macau suspended the use of Pfizer-BioNTech's coronavirus vaccine on Wednesday after being informed of a packaging problem affecting one batch of vials, while stressing they did not believe there was a safety risk. The stoppage is the latest blow in efforts to roll out mass vaccination programs against a deadly virus that has killed more than 2.7 million people around the world and hammered the global economy. Both Chinese cities said their decision came after they were contacted about the issue by Fosun, the Chinese pharmaceutical company that distributing the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine in China. Authorities said they decided to act out on an abundance of caution until their investigation is concluded. Hundreds of people in Britain have revealed their deepest lockdown secrets on postcards sent to a London stationery shop. During the latest UK lockdown, reimposed in January, Eleanor Tattersfield started giving out stamped blank postcard marked "Lockdown Secret" to customers of her family's shop in central London. She saw it was a way to fulfill lull in business, but it also means for people to unburden themselves. Many are miniature works of art featuring collages, sequins, and glitter, but in the messages that are most startling, from heartwarming to funny to chilling. She is now considering making a book or an exhibition out of all these postcards collected from the store.
In entertainment, Korean TV talk and quiz show You Quiz on the Block garnered the highest rating in its history courtesy of K-pop superstars BTS. Members of the BTS were the sole guests on the TV show on March 24, where they talked about their career, challenges, and BTS armies. According to Nielsen Korea, the March 24 episode garnered ratings of 6.74% nationwide and 8.206% in the metropolitan area, both garnering first place. This surpassed last week's nationwide rating of 5.3%, which was the TV show's highest then, when trending idol group Brave Girls became one of the guests. And in sports, the Tokyo Olympics torch relay kicked off Thursday, a year late and without spectators, heralding a major step towards the start of the coronavirus-delayed Games on July 23. The rose gold cherry blossom shaped Olympic torch was lit at the J Village Sports Complex in Fukushima, which served as a base for operations responding to the 2011 nuclear disaster. Speaking at the launch ceremony, Tokyo 2020 chief Seiko Yashimoto said she hoped the Olympic flame would serve as a ray of light at the end of the darkness. Tokyo 2020 CEO Toshiro Muto believes that the torch relay is intended to communicate that the Olympic Games will take place, and it makes people feel that the Games are about to start, and that's the nature of the torch relay. And those are the news on Web today, March 25, 2021. For more news and details, get your copy of the Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow, or you can log on to www.mb.com.ph. You can also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.